ICP and the entire crypto market are continuing to struggle today, but in this video, I'm going to explain why I believe the bottom is much closer than people realize, why I'm still personally bullish on this project, and where I expect this coin to go within the next 1 to 2 years. But before I get into all that, this is Royalty Crypto, and if you like ICP and other altcoin related content, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. But without further ado, let's take a look at this coin. As you guys can see, unfortunately, we have fallen down to $2.24, which equates to a $1.2 billion market cap for this coin. And this is the lowest level that we've been at since 2023. And although a lot of people might look at this chart and think that it looks fundamentally bearish, I actually believe that now is the time that you should be paying attention and potentially accumulating. As you can see here, in 2024, we did get all the way up to $18.77, and since then we have been in a steady downtrend all the way down to these current levels. But I believe that this project will at some point return to $18 and potentially even go much higher. The reason that I believe that is because ICP is one of the most interesting narratives in the entire crypto space. Not only is it a fantastic layer 1 blockchain in terms of technology, it also has an emphasis on AI, which I believe is absolutely huge and will continue to be the hottest narrative in the entire space. But they are also competing with centralized cloud servers like AWS and Google Cloud, and that also could fuel a crazy bull run for this project as long as they continue to deliver on their promises. And so far that has been the case because ICP has been creating new partnerships basically on a weekly basis, and they are also working towards reducing the project's overall inflation, which I believe was the only bearish catalyst for this coin. So the fact that they have addressed this and are planning to reduce the inflation all the way down to 2.9%, I believe will be absolutely huge for this project. And although all of these bullish things are happening behind the scenes, a lot of people are still bearish on this project because they see the price going down, and I get it, guys, that whenever the price of these coins drops, it is very difficult to stay positive on them because at times like this, it seems like things will never recover. But guys, coming from someone that's been in the crypto space for nearly 5 years now, these dips never last forever, and historically it has always been a fantastic time to accumulate strong altcoins like ICP. When you take a look at the crypto fear and greed index, you can see that the sentiment for crypto is at the lowest it's ever been, and historically, guys, whenever we are sitting in extreme fear, it always pays off to be accumulating rather than panic selling. And just think about that for a second. The sentiment in crypto is worse than it was in 2020 during peak COVID fears, and it's also worse than what we saw in 2022 when FTX collapsed. In my opinion, I believe that this fear is incredibly irrational because we have not experienced anything that should be causing this amount of fear. Now, I understand that the government is currently in a partial shutdown, and we also have a lot of war tensions with Iran that are currently escalating, but at the same time, these are all just short-term based fear events, and they aren't really anything that the market should be overly concerned about. Now, of course, if we do end up going into a prolonged war with Iran, that could add a lot of uncertainty to the market, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. But at the same time, I personally believe that this Iran situation is already priced into the market, so I don't really expect it to cause much more negative price action than what it's already caused. And same with this current government shutdown. This is not nearly as bad as the one that we saw in late 2025 because this is only a partial shutdown, not a full shutdown. So a lot of government employees are still working and getting paid, and we are still receiving a lot of the economic data that we desperately need to receive. So at the end of the day, yes, this might cause more short-term pain, but I don't expect this to be a prolonged thing that will continue to drive the prices of these assets down. In fact, I believe that there is a lot of bullish things coming down the pipeline that a lot of bears are overlooking. And the main one for the crypto space in particular is the fact that the odds of the Clarity Act being signed into law in 2026 are currently skyrocketing. Now, as I've talked about in a lot of my videos in the past, I personally believe that the Clarity Act will be a massive deal for crypto, and it's something that crypto bulls have been waiting on since the early days of the space. But once we do have the Clarity Act passed into law, I think that we will be seeing much less manipulation, which I believe will help a lot of people start to trust this asset class again, including institutions and banks. And once we see more large institutions like Amazon or potentially Tesla hop back into the space, I think that that will cause a massive FOMO event, and that could really just be months away, especially since these assets are at a significant discount, which I believe will be an incentive for these institutions to hop in and potentially buy large positions. Not only that, guys, but I believe that we are going into the expansion phase of the business cycle, which we have historically seen during bullish periods of crypto, not bearish periods. Every single bear market that we've seen in the crypto space in the past was during times of quantitative tightening and the Federal Reserve hiking the interest rate. But we are seeing the exact opposite of that right now. The Federal Reserve has not come out and said that they have started quantitative easing just yet, but they have been buying billions of dollars worth of short-term treasury bills for the past couple of months, which is exactly what quantitative easing is. And we have also slowly but surely been lowering the federal funds rate, and I believe that that will escalate in June once Jerome Powell is replaced by Kevin Warsh. Now, I'm not sure if we will price this in before Kevin Warsh actually gets appointed, because a lot of people are still unsure about what direction the Federal Reserve will go in, because people think that Kevin Warsh is a somewhat hawkish Fed chair. But in my opinion, guys, I believe that he will do exactly what Trump says, because Trump would not have selected him if that wasn't the case. And if you guys have been following what Trump has been saying, you would know that he wants the federal funds rate to be as low as possible. So if that ends up being the case and Kevin Warsh starts to cut the federal funds rate aggressively, I believe that that will cause a massive FOMO event in markets, and I believe that we could see all-time highs in the crypto space before the end of 2026. So although a lot of people think that we are in a standard 4-year bear market and that the prices of these assets will not start to recover until potentially 2027, I think that that thesis is incorrect, and I think that this move will catch a lot of people off guard. So in my opinion, guys, I think it is best to be dollar cost averaging into strong assets like ICP, but of course I do not have a crystal ball. I'm just presenting you with what I think, and you need to make that decision on your own. But alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all have a fantastic night, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Peace.